Welcome to another edition of Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast, with your host, Brandon Morrell.
Hey guys and gals, this is recording artist Randy C. Moore, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network. Tune in to the show on iHeartRadio podcast and Spotify, and on the sportsguyspodcast.com and at thwn.org.
And welcome inside the Backstage Pass, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network, iHeartRadio podcast, and of course our friends out there on Spotify and at thwn.org and radio affiliates, 27 countries worldwide out there. Brandon Morrell here, the Backstage Pass, a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. And pleased to welcome in. Been trying to put this one together for a while, and our schedules finally matched up out there. Recording artist, singer, songwriter Randy C. Moore to the Backstage Pass. Randy, how you doing, brother?
Hi, I'm great. Eureka, we're here.
We made it here, brother. Hey, for those folks out there and listeners in podcast and radio land, talk about just your upbringing. No stranger to music. Been around a long time, written a lot of great songs, and been in this thing called the music industry. Tell people a little bit about Randy C. Moore and how you got started.
Well, I got started in school, in grade school, and I wanted to be an artist, painting and stuff like that. That was my passion. But then I found out that the girls like guys who could sing pop songs, and me and some guys in grade school started singing pop songs. So that went from, hey, well, then I need to get a guitar. So I got a guitar, and then I started writing songs, and I'm still, junior high, whatever, playing in little rock bands and stuff and everything. Still doing my artwork, thinking, well, I'm going to go to art school when I graduate high school. Well, by the time I got to be 16 years old, I'd already made a record through the help of a guy here in the Houston area by the name of Arch Yancey. He was a big drive time country DJ for many years. And he was a good friend as well, got me into live performing. He had a show that he did at Gilley's nightclub in Houston, Texas, every Thursday, and he invited me to be on that. So I got a lot of experience early on and sort of got into the whole thing that way. By the time I was 18 years old, I moved to Nashville, and I had kind of made up my mind that art school would be something that I would do when I retire, whatever that means. Around 18 years old, I got to be a guest performer on the Grand Ole Opry, WSM's Grand Ole Opry, and that was a huge thrill. And of course, if I wasn't buying the product before, I was buying it then, because I was like, okay, this is definitely what I really, really want to do, and I definitely feel comfortable doing this. So that's really where I got started. Stayed in Nashville for many, many years and picked up a lot of different trades and different things to do, all of it related to the entertainment industry, and all of it kind of contributes to what I do today. So here we are, and I can bring you up to speed, in different facets of when we kind of talk about, how I got to where and what. But that's kind of the beginning. Back in high school, junior high, I had an electric guitar, and I won a talent contest singing Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road. And I was on my way after that.
Hey, talk about this. Just great feats, come your way too. And just, again, you pay your dues in this business, no doubt about it. Success doesn't happen overnight when it comes down to it, and especially Nashville. They call a 10-year town. Sometimes I know it's more than just 10 years. But performing with Bruce Springsteen, I want to hear all about this. And this was a pretty cool film on Apple. When performing, again, the feat, that would be one of my lifelong dreams, to just chat with Springsteen out there if I could. But tell us how all this came together.
Well, I was writing songs in Nashville with a lady by the name of Dottie Moore. She's not related, but I call her my sister by another mother. And she was writing songs with a guy named Carl Perkins, who I was a big fan of. And she said, do you think you'd ever want to write songs with Carl? And I said, well, gosh, how fast can I run? Because I don't need to walk. So I got into writing songs with Carl, and we wrote some songs together. And the guy who was handling a lot of Carl's media stuff and everything, sort of doing some management for him, was a guy named Rick Korn. And Rick was liking what Carl and I were doing. And Carl passed away in 1998. And so things kind of went along as far as like with me in Nashville and everything. And there was a show that came up that was supposed to be in Red Bank, New Jersey in October of 2001. And the show was related to Harry Chapin's Why Hunger benefit. And it was going to be a film that they were going to show, a new independent film about Sun Records. And they were going to invite as many people up who were Sun Records artists or people who were related to Sun Records artists from Memphis as they could get. And so my name came up. They said, we want you to come up and do Carl Perkins songs with the band. And I said, well, who's playing? I said, well, we've got DJ Fontana, Elvis's old drummer, is going to be here. Looks like Scotty Moore may be here playing some guitar. Several other Sun Records artists were going to be there. So it was going to be a fun thing to do that. Well, the 9/11 attacks happened, and I had no idea what was going to happen after that. And I get a call probably 2 weeks after 9/11. It's Rick, who's one of the producers of the show. And he says, well, Randy, he says, we're still going to do a show. I said, is it going to be the Sun Records tribute film? He goes, no. He said, it's changed. He said, we got to talking to some New Jersey artists, and they want to help raise money and do 2 nights of a benefit for people who lost their relatives and basically have bills to pay and have no way of doing it at this point, that their folks or their relatives or their wife or their husband or their sister or their daughter was working in the Twin Towers. So he said, the show's going to be different. He said, the headliner is a guy named Bruce Springsteen. I said, yeah, I heard of him. He goes, we've got John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, who's going to be on the show. I said, yep, heard of them. And then he starts naming stuff off. He says, Phoebe Snow, Joan Jett, Joe Ely, Felix Cavalier of the Rascals. He just kept going on and on, Smithereens. And I'm like going, wow, stop. I said, how long is the show going to be? He said, it's going to probably end up being about 3 hours. But he said, this is going to be the first concert that's going to be performed post the 9/11 attack. So he said, we don't really know what we're looking at. So I went up to do the show, and like I said, Bruce Springsteen was the headliner, and could not have been a nicer person to be around, and a more generous person to be around. But it was really funny. I was playing my set on the stage. He had just got off stage. He was playing a part of the Sun Records set with a guy named escapes me now, but anyway, he's a Sun Records artist. So they were out there doing their set. They got done. So then they introduced me. I walk out to do my 2 or 3 songs, my Carl Perkins songs, and I get done, and I'm walking to the wings, and there's Bruce standing there. He's been watching me the whole time, and he sticks his hand and he goes, man, that was great. I could have fallen over and fainted at that point right then. So I talked to Gary Talent, which was he was the band leader. Gary is the E Street Band bass player for many, many years. So Gary was the musical director and the band leader for this particular gig that we did at the Count Basie Theater in New Jersey. And I told Gary, I said, when Bruce shook my hand, I said, man, it was like a iron. His fist was like iron. I said, he's just like solid. I said, man, he must have been like a steel worker in his previous life. And he looks at me and he says, Randy, he says, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, when we were playing on the Jersey Shore in Asbury Park and doing club gigs, he said, all of us had daytime jobs because we really weren't making that much money playing music. He said, but Bruce never had a job. He said he would sleep on people's floors, bum rides. He said he never worked. He said he never really worked an honest day in his life that I knew him. I said, wow. I said, he's got this voice of the working man, the common man. It was just so funny to hear Gary say that. And he said it all in good humor. And I know if Bruce had been standing there, he would have said, yeah, that's right. So it was really, really an experience to be on stage with not only him, but all those other folks who at that point, and for that show, it was a very level playing field. There weren't a whole lot of pretense going on. There wasn't a whole lot of, well, I'm an artist kind of a thing. It was like everybody who walked out on that stage was like, okay, what is this going to do? Because we have no idea how people are going to react to this. This could be like a tragic, event that we're doing, but it lifted people up. It was like a very, very powerful 3 hours, and we did it for 2 nights. Gary actually came to my room with a guy named Henry Gross, because they drove up from Nashville together in a Cadillac. And Gary, he knocked on my door and I said, "Is everything okay?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I just wanted to let you know while it's on my mind." He said, I have done arena shows with Bruce. He said, I've done stadiums. He said, I've done places around the world, 50,000, 60,000 people plus, standing room only. He said, but I will tell you, he said, the performance that happened tonight, and he said, your part is definitely a key moment of that. He said, what happened tonight was one of the most powerful, moving shows that I've ever experienced. And I was pretty happy to hear him say that. It was kind of nice for him to come up and say that to me. So it was a good experience. It was actually it wasn't a game changer for me, but it was definitely a life moment for me, because I got to utilize a lot of my experience with basically kind of like, I don't know, I would call it ministering to people, or, comforting people and stuff like that, and kind of giving everything I got, and basically doing music and, trying to say the right things and do the right things, for people who were really, really in one of their darkest hours. And I'll say it was a life moment that if I had died 2 nights after that, then I would have said, well, you know what? I got to do what I came to earth to do. I got to do that thing, which was really, really, I'd say it was a pivotal moment, for me as an artist. So anyway, so that's my Bruce Springsteen experience. And of course, we had another one again here just recently. I did a show in Asbury Park. It was at Stone Pony, and this was for the Harry Chapin Why Hunger. It was called a Hungerthon. They do it every year, and I got invited to do it because I was on a film about the song Cats in the Cradle last year, which ended up being on Amazon Prime and on Apple Music, Apple TV and stuff like that. And I got to do my song. I actually got to do a version of Cats in the Cradle, which I released as a record later on. But doing that show in Asbury Park, the headliner that night was little Steven Van Zandt, and the surprise special guest was Bruce Springsteen. So it was quite a show, and was another experience to shake the guy's hand and go, yep, feels like I'm shaking a brick wall.
Well, we get a chance to play some music here again. Randy Seymour, the Backstage Pass. Again, we're going to play that song right here too. And started off here, we don't just talk about music. We play it here on the show here too. Cats in the Cradle. You remember this one like it was yesterday. We talked about that here on the Backstage Pass, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network out there, iHeartRadio podcast, Spotify, and our friends at thwn.org, and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. It's a grand slam of music, sports, entertainment. Back with Randy. Stay tuned.
A child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in a usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew, and as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad, you know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon, When you're coming home, Daddy, don't know when. We'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. Son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today. He looked at me, he said, that's okay. And I heard him say as he walked away, he said, I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Daddy, don't know when. We'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day, so much like a man I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you, can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'm feeling like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, sonny, don't know when. We'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. Long since retired, my son moved away. Called him up just the other day. Said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said, I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, the new job's a hassle, the kids with the flu. But it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It was sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, sonny, don't know when. We'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. We're gonna have a good time then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time then.
Hey y'all, this is recording artist Garrison Nunn, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio podcasts. You can also stream at thwn.org.
Looking to make your business stand out? Orange County Graphics has you covered. With premium signs, vibrant decals, eye-catching banners, stunning vehicle wraps, and custom graphics tailored to fit your needs. Whether you want to upgrade your storefront or turn your vehicle into a moving billboard, our expert team will bring your vision to life with quality and creativity. Check us out on Facebook or call 409-550-2906 today. Let's get your message noticed. Call Orange County Graphics. That's 409-550-2906.
What's up, Farm Flops? This is recording artist Hastings, and you're listening to the best in music, sports, and entertainment. It's the Backstage Pass with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network. Stream the show anytime on the sportsguyspodcast.com and on thwn.org. You can also stream on iHeartRadio podcasts. You're going to be glad you did.
And back here on the show again, Randy Seymour joining us here, Cats in the Cradle. I always remember that just like it was yesterday, and I loved how you mentioned about the album coming out too. Hey, I wanted to go back to your Highway 59 record. This was COVID, and I love this because there were a lot of cool things on this. You took some great songs. I mean, country, iconic tunes, Sunshine State of Mind. You had Roll Me Another One, going back to Texas, and just put your own spin on just some great songs. Talk about just this body of work and people that have Apple Music and, check it out. Highway 59, great body of work, man. I love it. I did.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, that album actually was never actually supposed to come out at all. I'd gotten separated from my first wife, and I was headed for the big D, not Dallas, but the big D divorce. So I was living out in this cabin in the woods in Middle Tennessee. A buddy of mine had this cabin on 240 acres out there. So I started just writing songs and putting them down. I had a little post-production studio, and I had a couple of different people that I could go and they could actually do the drums. A guy named Greg Morrow, who is a big studio player in Nashville. He plays for, I don't know, he plays on tour with Bob Seger and people like that. So I started working on this record, and I had 3-4 songs into just doing stuff, and I wrote that song. The song is called Things I Like. And when I finished that song, I went, this song is so different. There's no way that anybody's ever going to hear this unless I put it out myself. So that's what I did. I decided, okay, I'm going to make a record now. So I started working on that. It was very cold one night out there at that cabin, and the electric heat had gone out, and we didn't have any logs to burn in the fireplace. So it was about 27 degrees outside, and it was bone chilling on the inside of that place too. So I started working on this song, Sunshine State of Mind, because I thought, well, this would be a good time to kind of imagine myself in Florida. So that song turned out pretty good, but it took a really, really cold, bitter night to make it hatch. So yeah, I mean, that song, the songs on that record are really close to my heart. There's a song about my dad called Paul, which he never got a chance to hear it because I wrote it in 2014, and my dad passed away in 2010. But my dad was my hero, and he was my buddy, and so I still miss him today. I still write songs that put Dad in there somewhere. So the record it was really my first like solo record. I had put out a couple of records with a band I was working with, and we cut a bunch of stuff down at Sun Records studio on my birthday back in 2003. And most of the records that I did up to that point were just things for product to sell off the stage and stuff like that. But the Highway 59 album was definitely my first foray into, okay, I'm going to do with distribution. I'm going to get this out where people can do the downloads, the MP3s, the streaming, the whole deal. And so ever since then, I've kind of been in that zone of, okay, if I'm really going to make a record, then I got to think of all the things that it involves in order for it to kind of get out there. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot on the Highway 59 album. So thanks for bringing that up, though. It's amazing. I didn't expect to even talk about that one, but that's awesome.
We do our homework here on the Backstage Pass, no doubt about it, too. And time for the latest single. Again, Randy Seymour, the Backstage Pass, just came out January 31st. I can't believe March is around the corner. Hope you guys are getting ready for all the good stuff, spring break, vacation, all the good stuff. I know I am going to be hitting the brakes for the radio show over the next few weeks there, too, and still a possibility we might appear at Country Radio Seminar. Not sure yet, but if we don't, you know what, though? Everybody have a blessed Country Radio Seminar coming up March 18th to 20th in Nashville, Tennessee. The latest single, Forget Me Not, is Randy Seymour. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
If I make it home, will you let me stay? Though I've forsaken you and lost my way, like a thief on the cross, forget me not. I was a child with a home in the sunlight, barefoot and walking in fields of gold, until one night, one callous evening, I started down that long dark road. Forget me not, oh Lord, I If I make it home, will you let me stay? Though I've forsaken you and lost my way, like a thief on the cross, forget me not. Chilly autumn winds blow leaves from the garden, so goes my soul where it never stays. My body's weary, and when I lay it down, in dreams I hear my mother say, forget me not, oh Lord, I pray. If I make it home, will you let me stay? Though I've forsaken you and lost my way, like a thief on the cross, forget me not. With a soul that's lost, forget me not. Oh Lord my God, forget me not.
Howdy, y'all. This is recording artist Neil McCoy, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. That's where I come in. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at the sportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio Podcast. You can also stream at thwn.org.
Are you looking to increase your online presence? Are you searching for a new logo or company branding? Have you been considering more ways to reach the world with your business, ministry, or church's message? Barkley Music and Media is an award-winning design company that utilizes the latest technology while keeping the integrity of over 30 years of customer service. Web design, graphic design, multimedia, video editing, voiceover, commercials, logo design and branding, photography, and much, much more. See portfolios and testimonials online at www.barkleymusicandmedia.com or contact them today at 502-382-8299. Barkley Music and Media, your connection for the best in multimedia. Call today, 502-382-8299, or go to www.barkleymusicandmedia.com. Barkley Music and Media, integrity, technology, and design. www.barkleymusicandmedia.com.
Hey y'all, this is Texas recording artist Marcy Grace, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and on the sportsguyspodcast.com. Stream the show anytime on thwn.org and on iHeartRadio Podcasts.
And back here on the show again, too, Forget Me Not, Randy Seymour joining us here, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and our friends out there, too, Spotify, iHeartRadio Podcast, and the Sports Guys Podcast.com, of course, out there, THWN.org. You know, we all need uplifting music, and when I first heard this as the radio single now, too, through my carrier that I listen to out there for streaming, I needed an uplifting message, and this gave it to me, gave it to a lot of fans. There was great writing, lyricism in this was really good for Forget Me Not, and I commend you on this one because we all need a little bit to look up to the skies sometimes and pray to our Maker, if you know what I mean.
I'm glad to hear you say that because you know, one of my goals really when I do something, especially if it's going to get past the living room of my house and get out there, I like to try to think that I'm going to, you know, make something that's going to, you know, make a little bit of a difference with someone somewhere. I mean, I really started out doing this years ago, you know, because I like girls and everything. But when I got to thinking about it, I thought, you know, if I'm going to do this, I need to have some seriousness about it. And the seriousness that I came to was, well, let's see if I just can't leave things a little bit better than when I found them, or at least, you know, give other people something that they can hang on to that's a little more positive. I mean, there's a lot of darkness in the world anyway. And, you can use darkness just as you can use, blinding white light to get people's attention and get the message across. So that song, Forget Me Not, actually was trying to write a song for a show that I did. I was hosting a show here in Texas at the Texas Country Music Hall of Fame, and it was a gospel morning show that they would do every year after their big gala Hall of Fame induction stuff, which is always a really fun show too. But I was doing the gospel show, and I thought, I need another song here that I can kind of do a new one. So I started trying to write that song, and I swear it just wouldn't work. So I thought, just forget it. So I was talking to my wife at the breakfast table, my wife now, Linda, and I said, I was telling her a little bit about it, and she started telling me all of a sudden about how she grew up. And all of a sudden I went, wow, okay, here's my narrative for my song, Forget Me Not. Here's the story. I'm feeling the story now. And I came back the next morning in this room that you're looking at now, and this thing just practically wrote itself at that point. So it's really been a really, really good side for me to be able to show. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback and response, and the record itself actually has a really good sound to it, a different sound to it. I get people all the time, they go, man, I really like the way that sounds. And I go, that's cool. See, because that's kind of neat, because if something sounds great, sometimes if you can't even speak English, if it sounds good, you'll start listening to it, you'll get into it. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I got to ask about this because, overseas, you get a whole new, but a different breed of people, what I'm getting at when I say that, because European country is a lot different. How did the European Country Music Hall of Fame come about for you? I'm interested to hear this story because they have a lot of passionate fans over there too for country music too, and festivals too, it's nuts over there. It is.
Well, my introduction to Europe was a couple of trips to London and Amsterdam. Just going through those places, headed to Saudi Arabia of all places. But then I got invited to play in Monte Carlo and do a whole sit down thing with my band for a month. And before I left, a guy that I work with, his name is Norbert Putnam. We were having lunch, and he knew I was going to Monaco. And he said, Randy, he says, I'm going to tell you something. He said, you're going to find out when you get over to Europe that music is our best export that we have here in America. Okay. And he wasn't lying, because anytime that we would do anything that was like a vintage country song or something like that, I mean, I would do a Johnny Cash song or Roy Orbison song or something. They just loved it. They really, really love great music. They revere it. They don't throw it away and go, well, what's next? It's not about what's new over there. It's about what's good. That's why when you go to so many of these places in Europe, they don't tear buildings down. They have these artisans who come in and renovate them and restore them, to their original look and everything. So it's a cool place to play. So when I was getting my records played over there, and then I'm playing over there live as well, all of that contributed to the Academy of Country Music of Europe recognizing me and saying, we're gonna put you in our Hall of Fame. You have made an impact over here in this part of the world, and we want to make sure you're recognized. So that happened back in 2022, and I'm pretty proud of that too. So hats off to Europe, and they just keep sending those records up the charts over there for me, and I'm so glad.
I had it was former 90s great, early 2000s Michael Peterson on with me at the early part of this year talking about that, and he talked about how one of his songs that he released, one of the newest singles he put out there, and I mentioned that just that different breed of fans out there, they keep running it up the charts, and I think one of his singles just hit #1 over there. So the European fans over there too, and of course the radio stations and all the people in the media, I've just heard great stories, and of course I want to go over there one day and visit that beautiful country over there too at the same time, and just watch.
I think you'll love it.
Yeah,
you'll love it, man. If I could recommend a place to go, I would recommend doing anything along the Mediterranean, anywhere from Spain all the way up through Greece, because first of all, the Mediterranean is really kind of where I think life actually started on this planet, and you can feel it. Just the way the Mediterranean itself, the way the water and the way the atmosphere and everything about it is just there's just something really, to coin a phrase, there's something really special about that place. So I would recommend go to Nice, go to Saint Tropez, go to Venice, in Italy, do stuff in the Mediterranean, because that's a really incredible part of Europe. It's great to go to London because London's incredibly old. Paris is incredibly old. Ireland is incredibly fun. But for my money, I love the Mediterranean. It's one of my favorite visits and one of my favorite memories of being in that part of the world.
So when not doing music, as we kind of close here, what do you like to do for kind of just hobbies or for fun, things out there, as you kind of put the guitar down, recording tracks, things like that? What are some fun things for hobbies you like to do?
Well, I mean, I like to pick up my golf clubs and go out and see if I can't lose a few golf balls. And I like to go freshwater fishing. I'm big into that. Me and my wife, we got us a little bitty boat that we take out. And so me and Linda, we do a lot of stuff together. In fact, the video to Forget Me Not, she actually shot the video. My wife's a very talented photographer. So it's a real plus for me to have somebody like that in my wheelhouse that I can say, hey, wake up, we're going to go make a video. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy where I live. I lived in Nashville for almost 40 years, and that was a real great experience. But I'm originally from Texas, and moving back here was essentially like moving back home. Everything about it, which are things that you can't describe, is so familiar and so kind of in my DNA that I just, this is my final resting place.
Yes. I don't think I'll ever move from Texas either, too. I've been here all my life, too. Lived in San Antonio and Beaumont down here, too. So it's been a luxury living here, too. Love to travel, but the roots are right here in Texas. I think I'd only live one other place if I had a chance to move, and that would be Scottsdale, Arizona. I love it.
Oh, man, that's the beauty.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I
one
played out there and had the privilege of being at a place where I got to play some golf out there too. And I was like, okay, you can't beat this in January.
Or even December out there too, which is fantastic. I love to hike. And of course, one of my favorite places to go out there to hike out there too is just there's trails in Scottsdale. And of course, that Red Rock country out there too. I love it so much out there, and it's just Sedona is beautiful out there too.
Oh yeah, man, you're talking just gorgeous places, man, just breathtaking. Way to go, good for you.
They
Don't
really
ever
are.
stop doing that, man.
I'm like you. I don't have the boat, but I got the RV, so the RV is good to travel, and the RV is good for a mobile studio. So when I get a chance to get out there and do some live broadcasts, they're always fun, and visit different parts of the world to get the show out there more and have a lot of fun with it. Hey, when it comes to food, what do you like to cook or get a little nights you don't want to cook? What do you like for takeout?
We do a lot of stuff at home here, and we found out through the COVID experience that there's a lot of restaurants we don't have to go to anymore because we learned how to do what they were doing that we like. So, I think my all-time favorite that Mama cooks is these barbecue ribs, which are just out of this world great. I love those. She fixes a great pot of spaghetti, which I love. Here in Texas, you can get some Mexican food that's out of this world. You got to look for it though, because there's so many Mexican food places. It's like rolling the dice. But you can find really, really great food out here. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think. I think they said that per capita, more people dine out in big cities in Texas than any other big cities in the world, which I'm like going, wow, that's a lot of going out, man. So, but yeah, so it's barbecue ribs and Mexican food are right at the top.
I love that too. Two things we can never, ever get enough of when it comes out there too as well. Again, now the new single across all the DSPs out there too. At the same time, make sure you give him a follow on social media. Forget Me Not. singer-songwriter. He's done it all out there, too, in the music industry. Randy C. Moore here on the Backstage Pass. Randy, we finally got it done, hit the nail on the head, and I appreciate you joining me here on the show to kind of go through the entire illustrious career there. We appreciate it. And, dude, I would love to have you back as soon as new projects continue to come out here in 2026, and we appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You got it. One of the best out there. Give him a follow again on those social medias out there. We're back with more shows next week here as we start March 2026 here. Randy C. Moore, the Backstage Pass, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and our friends out there, thwn.org, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. God bless.
Hey guys and gals, this is Megan Lindsay, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and on iHeartRadio Podcast. Stream the show anytime on thwn.org and at the SportsGuysPodcast.com.